Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 30 of 10 Hour. This past couple weeks, we have been playing Tom Clancy's The Division 2, the sequel to the original Tom Clancy's The Division 1, game that Panda and I have lots of hours in, both of them, both 1 and 2. As always, joined here by Violin Panda.
Hello.
And Are You Squid and Me?
Hi.
And my name is Chaser. So yeah, we played the Division 2. Panda, you and I probably have what, 500-600 hours in Division 2 or more?
At least, yeah.
Squid, you have far, far less.
Yeah, I think if we add it up, I'm up to like low 40 now.
Okay.
No, that's still probably too high. Low 30?
6.
It's not 6.
14.
Yeah,
Before
true.
this, I had quite a bit of time in it.
Did you?
A lot more than Panda thought. I'll pull it up while we do this.
Okay.
I'm gonna embarrass
Anyway,
myself.
yeah. So Pan and I have been end game for a lot of the time we've been playing. I mean, we've been grinding for just different gear sets, exotics. So it's been a game where we've gone back to time and time again, hopped on, done like we said. I think we said this at the end of last episode. Just jump on, do the league that they have, the time trials, and open up your exotic cache and be done for the week, and move on to the next game that we would play. That's kind of how our whole group has, traversed through playing video games as a whole. But this is one of the ones we always enjoy coming back to, and they just recently released another DLC, or not DLC, but more content coming out. I believe it's over the summer.
Tomorrow?
Oh, is it tomorrow?
The new season is like next week or this week, yeah.
Oh,
The new DLC is scheduled for next year.
that's
But
what it
this
was.
is season 1 into the new year of content starting soon.
Yeah. So lots of new content to be coming into the Division 2. We touched on all of our experience already. So Squid, first thoughts when you first played the Division 2 and your first thoughts playing this time. Both.
When I first played the Division 2, I mean, I was having fun with it. I don't remember it that well. I remember where I got to and where I got stuck and annoyed and frustrated at a boss because I couldn't beat him on my own. But you guys were all playing it, and it was cool for us to all kind of be going through it at the same time. I have trouble following the storyline in the Division games for some reason. I like going around and picking up all of the collectibles and seeing those. Um, but I don't know. I find it very hard to follow what to do next and to follow the story on the Division games.
Okay. How much time did you play Division 1 as well?
So I ran through it and I beat it once. And then I think I went in the dark zone maybe like 3 times total.
Okay.
I was not I played through the Division 1. I remember liking the basis of the story, but I could not tell you a single character's name in that game. Like, it just the premise of the story is really cool and sticks with me, but the actual details of the story, they don't come across very well through the gameplay for me.
Okay. What were your thoughts when you first picked it back up again for playing with us?
I liked it less than I remembered.
Okay.
I think part of that was you guys have played so much of it that as I was playing, I was like, no, let's just get me through to where I was at least. And there's so many intricate little things to do in the Division that I ended up just being like, where the hell do I go next? What was the thing? I can't remember. Oh, I guess I don't. Well, I'm leveling up so fast, I don't need to pay attention to this gear, so who cares? Um, and I don't know. I think it was a game that get in with some friends that are also learning it, and you'll have a lot more fun with it. But if you hop in with some people who already know every single in and out of it, it's not as fun.
You know what it sounds like? Panda? What does it sound like?
I don't know.
Sounds like Borderlands. Squid got the Borderlands experience playing Division.
But she's played 1
Yeah,
And we've offered to make new characters with her so she could like not skip anything this time.
we did.
But it's not just the skipping stuff. It's you guys intricately in and out know how these menu work. You know what the different areas are and what levels they're at. And so you're just going to be like, "Oh no, the very next thing is this one." And I'm sorry, but you look at that map and it is not clear what you should do at any point in time at all.
You can do anything at your level.
Mhm.
So things that have the skulls because you're not high enough level, do what you can do now, and then when you're high enough level, it'll unlock. It was just you were getting levels so fast. There was way more on it than if you went through level by level.
I'll say, to be fair, she also, to be fair, anyway, she also was getting boosted up as well while we were grinding her through. So it didn't show her what the levels were, and it didn't show us what the levels were either for the main mission. So we were kind of like, wait, where are we supposed to be at for this one? What's the next thing we're supposed to do? It would have been a lot easier, I think, if we had been leveling with her to like kind of help her follow through where she needs to go next. Because we were both confused after we did Potomac Event Center. We were like, wait, where do we go next? Is it actually just a stronghold next?
Yeah. So how Chase and I were on level 40s, like max level characters,
Yep.
and Squid made a new character. So the game balanced it out to the story was 38 was the level. And when you're playing through the story, usually it's this mission's level 8, this mission's level 12, this area is 15, this area is 20, and it says what area everything is on the map, what level missions are, and like everything has a level next to it. You can go in at a lower level, but you're not going to do well. But in this instance, everything was 38, so there was no direction.
Yeah. Makes sense why she would be confused as to where she needed to go.
That's true. I don't remember having that much of that problem my first run through. I just remember first run through not really caring about the story was the main thing I remember from first run through. But I mean, the gunplay's fun. Like it's not my type of gunplay. I kept getting stuck on things because it's cover based. So I'd try to get out of that cover and I'd just run to the other side of that cover. But that was just skill issue. It's just I don't play that many of this type of game. So
Okay. Panda.
Well,
First thought, what were your thoughts when we first picked up the division, and what were your thoughts with our playthrough?
when I first picked up Division 2, I was super excited, bought it at launch, and I was like, ooh, more Division. And I remember we all got pretty hooked on it.
Yep.
We had, I want to say 2 groups of 3 going for a bit because it's up to 4 players. Pretty much the whole group was on. And then when you beat the main story, you go through world tiers. Once you hit world tier 5 at launch, that was endgame. And you just grind gear score. Well, there wasn't much. Excuse me. There wasn't much endgame at all. That was kind of just it. So basically, nobody played after that. The game fell off pretty hard. Everybody got back in when Warlords of New York came out because Wolf actually he was like, "Guys, Division's fixed. Get in here, everybody in here." And I think you and I were the first ones back in, and we were
Yep.
like, "Oh, it is. It's good now." And we've always played off and on since. Every few months, one of us will get back into it and suck the other people back in.
Yep.
Um, this time, we had always talked about doing hardcore runs, which I think whenever we're bored of Division, we always start hardcore characters. Hardcore is permadeath. So if you go down and you don't have a reviver skill, you start over the whole game. So I was really excited to do the race.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same mindset as Panda on it. We were very excited. We had gotten Division 2 pretty much. It was either right at launch or very shortly after launch. and we had just been grinding Division 1 for just an eternity. And we see Division 2 come out, and we're like, yeah, we need to get in on this and start from the beginning. We'll be one of the OG players. We'll be high gear score. And then we just kind of like you said, we just kind of fell off after we beat the game and got to World Tier 5, and we'd grinded for a while after that, and it was just like, okay, it's too repetitive. Most of the group fell off. We just kind of went on to other games. Like I said, that's kind of what our group does. We pick a game, play it for a while, and move on. We did that with Pal World. Pal World's kind of fallen off in our friend group as well. Baldur's Gate for me, I haven't been playing nearly as much as I have been as well. So yeah, just games kind of do that. Minecraft is a perfect example of another game that we do that a lot with. But yeah, no, I was super excited because, like you said, we've been talking about trying to do a hardcore run, but not 9 times out of 10 we would try to do it as a group, and we never wanted to leave anybody else behind. In this situation, it was like, all right, there's 2 of us that want to do this. We could have gone and done a duo co-op, but where was the fun in that when we could have had a competition with each other? We've always talked about how much we love competition with each other.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And very different approaches for both of us as well.
Yeah.
So Squid, what was your favorite part of the Division?
I have a little hippo that clips onto my backpack. I
Okay.
really like that hippo. Beekeeper Jeff was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't have a ton. Honestly, the environment's really nice. I do like that a lot of the stores and the buildings you can go into. I do think the world building, like, it feels like a real city. It's easy to get lost in if you don't know where you're going. So I think the environment's really cool. I just don't like the
gameplay. It's okay. The gunplay.
it's not even the gameplay. It's part of the story too. Like, I love Last of Us, and it's the same kind of almost post-apocalyptic, oh shit hit the fan and now these cities are kind of overrun. But I think the difference in that is this is more realistic. This is against people. The storyline is more military and like gangs based, and it just doesn't keep my interest as much.
Okay. Now, you watched a lot of what Panda and I did, right?
Yeah, I had you guys up because that was actually funny. that
Okay.
was entertaining.
So most of this podcast episode is probably going to be about our race and our playthrough. I'm trying to toss Squid some questions because I don't want it to just be Panda, an episode with Panda and I talking about this game. So yeah, some of the awkward questions I've thrown, I will throw you every once in a while, but most of it will probably be about this because we have played this game so much. We were really enjoying this hardcore race. I purposefully stayed up longer than I normally do in order to make sure that I would get some of this in pretty much every night of the week, except for Thursdays, I think was the only night we didn't really do anything with it, or Fridays. So most nights we were attacking this hardcore mode. So Panda, let's start with you. How did you attack this at the beginning of the playthrough?
Fast. I figured you were gonna be safe because it's hardcore. So right off the rip, you and I both were like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing at the start," and I think you said, "Yeah, we're doing the same thing." And then I picked the drone. I picked the assault drone, and
Yep.
you picked the reviver, right?
I picked the Reviver Hive. That's what I always do when I play hardcore. That's the first skill I grab because I do play hardcore very safe. You know what? I feel like I play the regular game mode pretty safe as well. I'm one of the more I'm very cover to cover based. I try to attack certain points first and then try to move. I'm strategic with my attack on the enemies, so it's right up my alley to run Reviver Hive.
So I did that, and then I was mainly using that at the start just as a distraction. One good thing about the division, in my mind, is the AI is very smart. Further in the game, you get. So at the start, they're like, "Ooh, drone, what's that do?" and you can just run in and do whatever you got to do. My strategy was just very gung ho at first, and I don't think I really slowed down until probably 12, 15-ish, as soon as we got around Potomac area.
That was about when you took the Reviver Hive, right? It was around
Yeah.
Potomac.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
be safe, and I think I ran it the rest of the time.
That's what I thought. So yeah, I took the Reviver Hive. I was more focused on being at range, trying to take enemies out as quickly as possible at range. So I ran mostly the rifles and the marksman rifles. So I was trying to prioritize headshot damage and things like that early on, as well as weapon damage, with the Reviver Hive being my backup in case I went down. Didn't want to be the one that goes down first. I don't think neither one of us went down, right? I don't think you did. We almost did. We had a few oh shit moments.
Yeah, no, neither one of us went down. I was one shot twice, I think, in the playthrough. Like, no health twice. And once was today, and once was like level 10 or 12 or something.
The today was on the last mission, then, of course.
Yeah, I took a rocket to the face, and I didn't die.
Holy. Okay.
I just had like 1 HP, and I healed real quick. It was okay. But I was going AR and rifle. I
Okay.
threw, depending on the level, I would throw on a 4x or a 12x scope on it.
hmm
And that's what I did the entire playthrough. As soon as I realized that worked well, I was either running the Police M4 or the like MK16, I think was the rifle.
Yeah.
And I was just those two the entire game. That
Yeah.
was it.
That also goes down to our approach at the start of the game as well.
Mm,
You prioritized crafting and
yeah.
your crafting bench. I prioritized purchasing weaponry because in my mind, every time that I've ever done this, right, it's always been you need to make sure you get the best gear that you can, and finding the right perks is important. And a lot of times you can find those in the shop.
Yeah.
Speaking of right perks, I saw you chuckle to
Uh,
yourself. I know you're talking about about to talk about your backpack.
yeah. So there's a talent called Bloodsucker that every time you get a kill, you get, I want to say, 15% shield, and that stacks
hmm
way too much. And that lasts for 10 seconds on your first kill. So I got that from, I want to say, level 18,
15.
19, maybe.
I thought it was earlier than that, to be honest.
Maybe. And basically, the rest of the game, I made sure I had that talent. And I had a backpack yesterday that was like a 22, and I was like, I have to get rid of this backpack. And I think my first drop today at like 29 was a
No,
purple. What?
30. It
It
was
was a
at 30.
30. Okay.
Yeah.
It was another Bloodsucker backpack. So I then took the talent off of the one I had been using in the tinkering menu and everything. I took that talent off, deconstructed the bag, and I had that perk just in case I needed it for later. So now in my hardcore run, I just have that talent ready to put it on something else.
Yep.
That
So yeah.
carried me through the game.
So yeah, early on, that actually just made me think. So you were not running marksman rifles, but
Oh,
you were, and you. How many designated hitters did you get?
oh, I got 3 in one day. I want to say I got 5, maybe 6. And that's a named yellow rifle. Like, that is very rare when you're going through the game. You
Yeah.
wanted some, though.
I mean, hey, I would take any of those marksman rifles. Yeah. So through the early stages, I was using that. Like I said, once we started getting into the deeper portions, I think it was about level 20, 21 or 22. I started trying to focus on getting uh, the the crafting bench upgraded to purple from
Mhm.
blue. That way, there I could start to be able to craft things if I didn't have a good weapon at the level that I was at, which I ended up doing around level 27 or 28. I think I crafted a new sniper rifle and assault rifle, and I ended up using a P4. No, I used the FAMAS. I used the FAMAS because I like the higher RPM. Everybody that plays this game with me knows I love high RPM weapons.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
Typically, when I'm running in our normal playthroughs, I'm running AR submachine gun, and it's the highest rate of fire that I can get. So
My current endgame build is a 900 RPM SMG, with my secondary being a 1200 RPM SMG.
yeah, he's heavy in the SMGs. Squid, what was your favorite part about us about this whole race? Like, I know that you had a couple of clips that you really liked.
I'm sorry. I'm just looking over here going crazy because there's currently a small earthquake. um, I don't know. I don't know if I had a favorite part. I just had a ton of tension in the room. Don't shake the desks. There's just a ton of tension in the room. So usually if Panda's playing something, I would be like, I'll ask him a question. It's fine. But for this, it was just so intense. It was like, no, I can't bug him right now. Like he's gonna go down. Um, Anytime I heard one of you guys like freaking out, like, oh shit, this is it, I would have to swap over and be like, oh, what's happening? What's going on? I was really surprised neither of you guys went down at like basically at all. I thought it was gonna be a lot more deaths.
That shows how much she knows about our skills at playing the division.
I also don't think she realizes we've gotten to level 23 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I don't think you and I have ever lost a hardcore character, not intentionally.
Wolf, however. Wolf
has, which is why there was one that we just said, okay, we'll just die and restart.
Yep. Yeah.
And we've deleted a few. We both deleted one to do this, even.
Yeah. We deleted one in order to be able to play. We thought we were going to be able to play with that one with Squid, and then she wanted to just get Borderlands through it.
It was my decision, and I do not think it was the right decision, but I just wanted to get to where I already was. Don't do that. I don't suggest anybody actually do that.
Honestly, if we hadn't done that, we wouldn't have had this race. It would have been us.
We wouldn't have had time.
Yeah.
I think the race was more interesting and a lot more fun to watch than me going through a game that I'm not really enjoying.
Yeah. So something else that I didn't remember until, I don't know, like what, level 12 or 13? Is that when you mentioned them?
Maybe later.
Maybe later than that. We were both sitting there like, man, how is he like 2 levels ahead of me? Have you been doing your projects? Oh my God, I forgot about projects. So make sure when you're doing this on your own, you're doing projects, because that's how you get your levels faster.
I don't think it was levels as much as I could mod my weapons, because you get a lot of attachments for doing projects. And then with the attachments, you can make a shitty weapon turn a little bit better.
Make a weapon that doesn't have a good accuracy have accuracy.
Yeah, because it can boost like 40%, sometimes 30%, depending on what boost you have on.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was really an important thing that I forgot about, because it has been so long since we have done a run through from the beginning like that. So yeah, we probably should have been doing projects from the beginning, because otherwise I might have had a shot at this. At the end, I was getting ready to do Roosevelt Island. Whoa, that was going stuck up on me. Roosevelt Island was where I was about to start, and that was what we did today. Panda, you were at level 30 when we started, correct? Or you were almost at level 30 when we started?
I was at 30.
Okay, so you had completed Roosevelt already, and the only thing that you had left to do, other than side missions and potentially doing like control points and such, was going into the Capitol building and defeating the final level.
Yeah, I walked this morning. I was like, "What was I doing?" And then you were like, "I remember," and I was like, "Oh, yeah." So I did one control point kind of in front of the Capitol building, and then I went straight into the last level.
And how did I know you said you had an oh shit moment today?
So I recently got a new PC, and I've been playing max graphics this week, and it's been fantastic. I went from 1080p low graphics to 1440 high graphics, like ultra, and it's great. Storming the Capitol building with ultra volumetric fog was terrifying. And then I was finally at a good point where I could take a break for a second. I turned that down to low, and my game froze for about 10 seconds, and I was like, "I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die." It
That's why you said that.
and it unfroze, and then it was okay. I could see again. But that was an experience.
I didn't realize that was why. That was why. Oh
It
man.
was not a good time. As soon as I got to the gates, it was okay. But there's like a super cinematic fight to the gate where there's mortars going off, there's machine guns, and it's very challenging to get through. Enemies are spawning on both sides, and you just have to push forward, pick a side, and snipe across, basically. Um, it was okay once I got to the gate.
Okay. And then you said you took a rocket to the face. Was that during that portion?
No, that was actually
Was that at the
uh,
end?
it wasn't the very end. It was on the way, probably. Uh, what was it?
I
It
know
was
where it was.
outside.
It was when you were on the roof getting ready to call for
Yeah,
them the first time.
yeah. Before you go back down with a rope,
Yep.
it was in that area. Um, I heard it and then I looked and it was like, oh, a freeze frame. You're probably wondering how I got here. But I didn't die. I had about 58,000 armor. Um, Afterwards, once that happened, I went through. I think I lived only because I had Unbreakable on my holster or something. Which what that talent does is when your armor breaks, you heal 95% of it back instantly. And then it broke again. I think this happened like boom, boom, boom. So I would have died. It filled the armor. It killed the armor, and I was like 2 HP. I don't know if it does it that fast or not, but regardless, I had the Reviver Hive. So if it worked, it still would have been okay. I wasn't super, like, they weren't running towards me or anything. I was pretty safe. But yeah, I
Holy.
don't know if that talent did that or not.
If it did, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of oh shit moments, but I didn't. I had one today, in the Capitol building as well. But that mine was on the last part of the fight where you're fighting Ridgeway, the General Ridgeway, um, and you're trying to get rid of the SAM missiles and the SAMs and everything.
Mhm.
And I got knocked down to not down, but down to like what you said, 1 HP, and that was about it. And I was like, oh crap, heal, 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 quickly,
Yeah.
please. Yeah. So
I don't I don't know if sniping is the play just because it's so slow. I went rifle with a scope, even just 4x, just because I was doing, I don't know, 4 shots on an enemy, maybe, and it shoots 250, 300 RPM. So when they were running towards me, if I needed to reload, I could still shoot quickly.
yeah,
Whereas if you're sniping and you have to swap and then you run out of AR and like, what do I do? I saw using your pistol a few times.
purposefully.
Yeah, yeah. But that's because you
Um,
didn't want to run into that situation.
yeah, because I was running into situations where I was getting overwhelmed, and I was like, okay, I can't continue using the sniper here. So I'd swap to the AR, and then when that would run out, if I had like a guy one or two shot pistol, boom, boom, try to get him quickly, and then swap back. I was very, very smart about using my cover.
Mhm.
Anytime I would get into a fight, instantly cover. Um,
Since we played this so many times, I was, you basically know where everybody spawns, right?
for the most part.
I was popping shots with my rifle. 1, 2, 1, 2, just several shots on every single enemy. So by the time they all came out, everybody was half.
Yeah.
And then I could just melt them with my AR.
I think the other part of me sniping was I was practically waiting for people to peek because that's what you're doing. You're trying to pop the headshots, and if
Mhm.
I was missing, it was bad time. There were a lot of times where like, damn, my aim is on right now. I had a
Mhm.
couple of flicks today where I was like, holy, how did I hit that? I think you were watching at that point too.
Satisfying.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, it was a good experience. I'm glad we did it.
Same.
Panda did win.
It was close.
It was
It was an hour maybe.
an hour and a half. Honestly, if I had pushed through Roosevelt rather than leveling at the time that you were doing it, I think it probably would have been. I would have been starting the capital as you were finishing it,
Yeah.
or pretty close. But yeah, overall, not terribly far behind. But I think a lot of it had to do with the not doing the projects at the start to get the mods for the weapons, and then sniping,
drone.
waiting to peek. Well, no, sniping, waiting to peek. I had because my second skill was the drone.
Yeah.
So I took the next correct skill, and I never actually moved off of Reviver, Hive, and Drone. I know that you ran Cluster Mine at the beginning.
Yeah. So that was another thing too. As soon as I got my second skill at level 4 or 5, I went Seeker Mine. So I would drone, I would Seeker Mine, I would toss a nade. I was using my nades constantly when they were grouped.
Yeah.
I would toss my grenade in, send my Seekers in, throw the flare up or whatever, and then start pushing.
Yeah.
So by the time I was actually pushing, everybody was like half or lower. There was even the fight today on the Capitol building. My drone, I just sent him on the boss, and I'm worried about the ads, and I look back, his shield's gone, and he's doing health damage to the boss. Just my drone. I had him skill tiered 3, I think, and he was just going off.
Yeah. See, I prioritized armor. I was just basically moving armor pieces around depending on what the best armor that I could get was. Wasn't worrying too much about skill tiers because I was more prioritized sniping them, getting the damage through the weapon damage. So I wanted to make sure weapon damage was high and armor was high as high as I could get it. So
I wasn't really doing that unless I had to. Like I focused DPS today, last few days actually, just because I was like, well, I need to stay ahead. Like he's gonna have to risk it more than I am. I just need to keep pushing the same speed. And I feel like I was flying through some of those for sure.
I feel like I still played safer than I should have the last couple of days because I was hoping that by you pressing, you were gonna fall,
Yeah.
and then I would be stuck there way in the lead. Like I didn't want you to die, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, there's a chance he could.
Oh yeah. In the back of my head, I was like, I'm gonna die. But it was really fun. I like that we did it. I did one mission after you beat the game. You start going through the world tiers, like I mentioned. I did one Black Tusk mission, and I said, "Yeah, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to do this. I'm down to play together and go through the DLC and everything."
Yeah.
Because I do really like the idea. Hear me out. If we beat the game, we are end game with hardcore characters. We start the DLC next year with hardcore characters.
Holy. All
Going
right.
in blind with hardcore characters.
Okay. That's not a bad idea, to be honest.
Right?
That sounds super interesting because you guys already knew what to expect and how to build for the current one. Like I thought you guys were gonna go down a lot more because I didn't realize you knew specifically everywhere people were gonna spawn, kind of thing. But going completely blind to that would be pretty funny.
Well, we know to an extent. Obviously, the things that we do, like the time trials and stuff, they are made more difficult, so there are more people. So there were times in the missions that I was like, "Oh crap, this guy's gonna spawn right here." Oh wait, there's nobody spawning. That's weird.
There was entire rooms where I was like, "Oh, this room sucks," and it's like 3 dudes come out and they're not even armored. And then it was just like,
That's it.
"Oh, okay,
Yeah, I think we both had times like that. It was like, that's it.
Wolf said, let's do it." Well,
Yeah,
you gotta get a character
you-
there first.
Yeah.
You
Come
gotta stop
on.
dying.
We soloed it, so now it's your turn to solo it, Wolf.
I
It's
would
very-
watch that.
It's very rewarding. Yeah, stream it. Hell, stream it. Do it.
You do get a patch for beating it as well,
Yeah.
which is cool. You haven't seen it yet, have you?
I haven't. No.
Yeah, you get My main complaint about all of this, I guess, is when you're doing hardcore, it's obviously permadeath. It's very challenging. It's
Very
very
challenging.
challenging. It's rewarding. At level 3, you get one piece of cosmetic, and it's a YOLO hat. That's it. That's every reward you get for doing hardcore. Other than for the Capitol building, you get a patch once you beat it, which I didn't know about. But that's it. I'm guessing you get one for doing the last level of the DLC, maybe, hopefully.
You might get something for doing the Black Tusk as well.
No, for getting World Tier 5.
Yeah. Well, no. Is getting World Tier 5 beating the last mission in the Black Tusk? No, right?
I think so, because you do the strongholds, and like World Tier 2 is like the Manning Zoo, and World Tier 3 is the like carnival stuff, right?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
It has been forever since we did all that.
Yeah.
I mean, but I thought it was maybe that is just maybe that is World Tier 5. I was thinking you get one for like defeating the Black Tusk, like the stronghold at the bottom of the map, the south end of the map.
Mhm.
Maybe you get something for
Maybe.
that, some sort of cosmetic, whether it's a patch or a jacket or something that says that you did it or whatever. And then maybe there's something for beating New York as well. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case or not, but
I just want more rewards. Give us one for level 10. Give us one for 15, 30,
Yep.
whatever. Like, we would have done this a long time ago if there were special cosmetics.
Mhm.
Give us a weapon skin for hitting 30. I would never take that off. That would be super cool.
Yep.
Something. But, you know, you get a YOLO hat. That's exciting.
We did used to use that a lot when we first got it, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but like, think what we would use if it was actually hard to earn. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you already said that patch is probably going to go on and not come off for a while.
Yeah, I was looking at my merits and I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay, on.
Yeah.
That's going to be there for a while.
Any comments, Squid?
No part of me would ever want to do the hardcore run. I think I would have probably gone the same way Chase did, though. I'd go armor and reviver hive versus being able to do a lot of damage, because I'd want that safety there.
Trust me, it didn't keep me fully safe because there were multiple times where I almost went down.
You can't die if everybody's dead.
It's true.
That was kind of my motto.
What was your first risk it for the biscuit moment, not the picking a skill. You did a supply cache like a event, right? That was your first really foray into I'm gonna risk it.
Yeah, so I was like, I did want to touch on that actually. Yeah, so I was doing the supply cache, and the way that works is there's 3 to 5, I think, depending on how many players there are, maybe. Supply caches that drop from like a parachute, and you could just go do them if you want. And when you walk over to the area, there's gang of the area, whatever it is, and they are trying to open them. You kill them, and you start opening them, but they spawn on both sides of the row. So you have to run back and forth, back and forth. And then we have a second. It takes probably 10 seconds to open a cache, and they just keep respawning. Probably 4 or 5 waves on each side.
Yep.
For the whole event. So if you get overwhelmed at all, you're screwed because you're surrounded.
Mm-hmm.
The AI is smart, so shotgunners always rush you. Turrets always put like their turret dudes always put the turrets down on either side. The grenadiers are always like their grenadiers are always in the middle, like tossing stuff at you. So you have to run at them quick, which was really good because I would just send my drone to finish the last guy, and I would turn around and run while they're spawning.
That's fair.
That was what I was doing. But I want to say this was like the second or third day we were playing when I did that.
You were
And
like level 6, right?
Yeah. It was a level like 5 or 6 zone. It was appropriate level. It was just I wasn't expecting the challenge yet.
Yeah.
Because I figured it'd be pretty safe till 10 or 15 or so.
Nope.
But when we were walking through the open world, I was like, every time ever that I've played Division, if there's a hostage event, I just go do it. Because why not? right? It's extra XP, you get rewards. There's 0 point to not do it. But I'm walking past, and there's a control point to my left. There's a hostage event on the right, and then behind me is another event. And I'm like, that sucks. It's not worth the risk.
Mhm.
I'm like, keep going. And it was really cool. I'm sure that's what the devs intended, was in this world, is it worth it to save everyone? Nope, trying to beat the Capitol building. But the decision was there, which was really cool. You had to make it.
I did notice though, a lot of times, even on the outskirts of the control point, unless you shot into the control point, they typically wouldn't do anything. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yes, but sometimes the drone just drones, and I didn't want that.
And that's why you don't use the drone in those situations unless you have to.
I used a drone at every situation.
Yeah, no,
I
I
would just
didn't.
I would just recall it if I needed to, but it was always there. There was times in levels where I didn't even go into rooms. If I had extra drone left over, I would cancel it, walk around, search for collectibles for 20 seconds, call it out, go in the next room. So I was
That's fair.
always pushing fast.
That's fair. Squid, you look like you're comfortable just listening to us.
I just know that I'm gonna have to play this game again when the DLC comes out.
No, we wouldn't do that to you. Yeah, we would.
Yeah.
June 11th is the new season. Not the new DLC, but the new season. So it's
Gotcha.
in about 2 weeks-ish.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Chase and I will be playing that. It might only be like a few hours a week, maybe, but it should be new Manhunt and everything, like end game stuff. That'll be fun.
And that's what we do now is play a lot of end game stuff. So
Yeah.
let's talk about our end game builds that we have, not in this, but just in general.
Mhm.
The one that I've been doing is called Negotiator's Dilemma. So it's a 4-piece Negotiator's Dilemma with the Vile Mask, which is an exotic gear piece. And I've just recently picked up a backpack that basically gives me a lot of dots everywhere. And I think it's going to work out really good. I've got multiple ways to be able to get those dots out. Because the Negotiator's Dilemma will allow me to get hollow point rounds, which makes people bleed. In order to do that, I have to kill somebody with that weapon while they have a status inflicted upon them. I'm using the BFB Sticky Bomb, which causes bleed, which gives me the option to kill people. And I'm also using the Incinerator Turret, which catches people on fire, another status effect that I can kill people with. My gun out. Yeah. And then just dots everywhere for everybody. You guys have used it as well. You guys get the hollow point rounds for killing people with it that have the mark as well. So that one I think is the main build that I'm using. After playing this hardcore mode, I might try to continue building on the sniper build a little bit more. I was hitting a lot of really good shots with it.
Yeah.
With
Sniping is
this
just
playthrough.
satisfying when your aim is on.
When it's off, it is horrifying.
Well, good job, team. I've done nothing.
Thanks for being my DPS. I helped.
Yeah. I have 2 endgame builds. I just made a new one probably 3-4 months ago. I finally finished it. But for the first 4 years of Division 2, I was using a sniper build, actually. It's I don't know what set it is. I think it's just called the gambler set.
Aces and eights.
Aces and eights, thank you.
Yep.
My loadout's called I'm a Gambling Man. So what that set does is whenever you get a headshot, you draw a card. Once you have 5 cards, I think headshots are 2 cards, body shots are 1 card. So after 3 shots, you have a hand of poker.
Typically.
Depending on how good that hand of poker is, that's RNG. Depends on your next X amount of shots that deal bonus damage. So if you get a full house, then it's the I think it's full house is 2 shots. 4 of a kind is 4 shots, and
Aces and eights is a thing too.
aces and eights is like 1 or 3 or something. I don't know. I just draw cards and shoot stuff. but I use the Nemesis sniper, which is, I think I can say reliably, the single hardest hitting sniper in the game. Not the most DPS, but the one bullet does the most in the game. With buffs from Chase and Wolf and hollow points and everything else, I can do like 65 million a shot.
It's
Which, if
gross.
you go to the target range, the hardest difficulty enemy dies at like 45 million, I think. So it's busted, but it takes some setting up and everything. And when these two guys run in with SMGs or ARs and everything dies before I can shoot, it's real frustrating. Or if Wolf's like, oh, I'm gonna use my build where Chase stands behind me with a shield and I just nuke everything. The sniper takes 2 seconds or so, second and a half to charge. So I'm like, all right, I got a shot lined up. Charging. Okay, he's dead. All right. This guy, I'm gonna charge and no, he's dead. Okay. Gone through entire endgame missions where I do like 10 million damage, and these guys both have like 600 million.
Yay, dots.
So I swapped builds finally to SMGs, the 900 RPM and 1200 RPM. The faster I move, the more damage I do because of Lady Death. And then everybody that dies gives me bonus armor once I pick it up. So it's literally just go fast and kill everything. And that one's super fun.
Which is why I'm not probably going to be building a sniper build, because now I'm going to be the one that's like, oh, now they're dead. Okay. Oh, snipe
Yeah.
lined up. Oh, now they're dead. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
when you do hollow points and I get them, I'm doing 500,000 damage a bolt on a 1200 RPM SMG. Like
It's
30 in the mag,
crazy.
35 in the mag. It's insane damage.
Yeah, no, we synergize really well, especially when I have the hollow points going for everybody.
Mhm.
That's why that's become my favorite build, and I've used that for. I think I've used that the longest in the last few times we've played it.
Yeah.
I've only occasionally jumped to different ones, but that's the one that I've stuck with the most. So that's why I'm trying to rebuild that one and be a little bit better with it, being able to move the dots around a lot more. The bag that I have, the perk, it moves it with people within 10 meters. If you apply a status effect, it affects all enemies within 10 meters. So that's a pretty big range to be able to move bleed over to, and it gives the ability for people to actually be able to get those hollow points even more. So that's what I'm hoping I can be able to do for you guys and help
Yeah.
with the damage.
So do you have any interest, Squid, in beating the game and getting to the expansion for the new stuff? Or you just want to say I'm done with Division?
I think I'm just done with Division. Like, I don't have fun with it. I don't. There's nothing to keep me wanting to play. I don't love the building because I don't love hyper realistic, not hyper realistic, but like very realistic guns. I like ridiculous, like ray guns and stuff. The different builds you can do are really cool. The thought of building for dots and everything is really interesting, but not in this setting. Like, it's just, I just don't find it that fun.
That's fair. Yeah, it wasn't a trick question. You're allowed not to like it. It's fine.
No, it's okay.
The difficulty comes in because I see that it's a really like well put together game, and that like for the people who like it, I see why it's a really good game. It's just not the play style I like. It's like Call of Duty and Halo. Like, they're great games. They're huge. People love them. I don't have fun with them. So it's hard because it is a good game. It's just not my game.
And that's fair. When we started this podcast, we said that there are going to be games that you hate
Mhm.
that we love, and there's going to be games that you love that we hate.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the way that we've got the podcast set up.
And Division is very much, even Endgame, I've seen Wolf be like super hyped because he got a max roll perk that he needed. Well, it had 24.8%. Now it has 25%.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the level of building, though.
It's literally just like when we play Trackmania, and it's like, oh, that 1/10 of a second in Trackmania, or 100th of a second.
Yeah, but that's an addiction. This is just fun. That's like, I need help. This is my last one 5 hours ago. Please pull me off.
That sounds more fun than Division. Trackmania sounds more fun to me than Division.
Put it on the calendar, folks. Holy cow.
I will change my wheel right now.
Take off that game, put on... Just kidding. I did change my game from what I said before, though, so... Anyway. Anything else that you want to bring up, either of you? Squid, I know that you're probably not going to bring anything else up, other than maybe, like, something specific to the art or whatever.
It was something specific to the art.
Wow.
I like the system in this game for cosmetics, but every single one is boring. They're so boring. I don't, and I once again, it's because they're going realistic like military, but man, I could not get behind the cosmetics for this except for the ones that they've started coming out with recently. Like there's a skin for your guns where it's pigeons. I like that. I need more of that. Like my little hippo clip. I love that. But most everything you're going to unlock is, would you like this gray shirt or this slightly torn up gray shirt? Just kidding, doesn't matter. You're putting it under a vest. Like I like the direction they're going with it, though, that they're adding more crazy stuff. Panda has a little kitty cat outfit that I still wish was bumped up just a little bit more on the ridiculous scale, but it's going the right direction for me.
I'm going to be devil's advocate on this one. The cosmetics get better when you get to the end game. Am I fair in saying that, Panda?
You are. Also, I'm going to be that guy, and doing hardcore, if I'm doing duo hardcore and Chase is running around stomping like a duck, I'm not going to take it as serious, and I'm probably going to die.
And when you're playing hardcore, you got
it would be a distraction.
Yeah.
That being said, if the option's there for people that want it, I don't see why not. You can make some pretty ridiculous costumes, outfits, whatever, but it's not very far. Like you said, Squid. Something in this current battle pass that I really liked was the pigeons eating fries dipped in ketchup skin. That's hilarious. They also added a corgi backpack that I'm currently wearing. I have a cat ear, like baseball cap, and I have goggles that kind of flash like LED lights. That's about as ridiculous as you can get, which is pretty tame compared to anything else. So,
yeah,
I get that frustration of it. But also, the people that are trying to get 0.2% on a roll, they don't care. They don't care. I don't know what they're going to do to get new people in. I hope they're not just banking on a huge resurgence for this next year of content, because unless they kill it in 2 weeks with a huge season that changes some stuff, they're going to be like, oh, it's Division. And maybe the expansion will get them there. But if they have a lot to do, if they didn't play Warlords, like, I don't know what's in there to keep them. Even Call of Duty now has, like, ridiculous skins and everything. You kind of have to want to play Division, and you have to want to get there. Nothing's going to bring you in, if that makes sense.
Unless they come out with maybe they come out with some more hardcore cosmetics. I mean, maybe that's something they have on their radar. I don't know. I mean,
I want to see the percentage of people that have beat the game in hardcore, because I bet you it's less than 1.
yeah,
I don't think this is like Division's pretty niche if you're still playing.
and the people that are playing for the most part are playing PvP. You're not seeing a lot of people play PvE.
And Dark Zone, that's another thing. I was looking through my merits. I've never touched Dark Zone in Division 2. I don't think I've ever done PvP. We are just grinders for loot and building and end game stuff. And the game is mainly geared towards that, which is why a lot of the people were excited for Division Heartland that just got canceled. And which is why you and I are excited for Resurgence, which is the mobile game coming out to bridge the gap between 1 and 2. I think they're just kind of done trying to do PvP Dark Zone type stuff.
It's okay if they want to. I know that they've got Conflict, which is one of the game modes that they have for PvP, and
Yeah.
there was talk that that's pretty popular with the people that enjoy the
Mhm.
PvP scene. Obviously, that's not either of us.
Yeah.
But if they want to continue doing PvP Dark Zone, that's fine. What I would like to see is a change to the Dark Zone altogether, and then turn the Dark Zone into. They did cancel Heartlands. What I would like to see though is that they take the Dark Zone and maybe turn the Dark Zone into like the survival mode. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I want to see. Even if it's just a PvE, you can even do a PvEVP similar to how they did in Survival in Division 1,
Mhm.
but make it more like the survival mode and less like the Dark Zone from Division 1, because that was just, you could get people in there that were just trolling all day long and you'd be constantly. That was us at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
But you could get people that would just troll in the Dark Zone for hours and you wouldn't be able to go in
Yeah.
because you just constantly get killed, and it was a nuisance at times. So
Do you think they're gonna continue pushing a PvP when they've put these characters into a different PvP game now, though? Like, I kind of feel like that's them saying, yeah, we're not gonna focus on PvP in Division as much. We'll just use those assets and those characters in their new game.
I think it's different enough. That's a first person Call of Duty, old Call of Duty clone. I'm not gonna say new. Also, it's the different factions have abilities, so I guess it's not really Call of Duty. It's like a hero shooter type thing.
it's similar to Call of Duty / Overwatch. That's kind of how I'm looking at it, because there are game modes similar to Overwatch, and
Yeah.
I think that's just ingrained in my head. I think it,
Yeah, like there's escort to payload type thing,
yeah,
but there's also domination and
hard point.
the hard point. So like that's first person shooter. It feels nothing like Division, other than currently it has the cleaners. That's it, and some maps that are similar vibes.
All they did is they just took some of the. I think they're all enemy, right? Every one of the factions are all enemies in main games that they have. Right?
No,
Is
the
it
Far Cry 6 is the Liberty people.
okay?
They're the good guys,
Okay.
to my
So
knowledge.
but so then there's they're all factions from other games. They have
Yeah,
DeadSec in there. This is X Defiant that we're talking about. Nobody
they
said
have
anything about it, so it's X Defiant.
Far Cry 6, Watch Dogs 2, Division, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, and
Ghost Recon.
Ghost Recon Wildlands, I think, or just Ghost Recon maybe.
It's one of the two. But yeah, so it's different enough, and I don't think that they need to have a focus on PvP. I just think that they need to. I honestly think with what they learned from Heartlands, that kind of showed them that maybe there's not as much of a calling for PvP in a Division game. That's what I'm kind of gathering.
I just think Heartlands was too little too late.
Mm,
That was an extraction shooter, similar to
Tarkov.
what was the game? The Cycle. If you guys
Oh,
have played that at all, it was not as serious as the new Arena Breakout that just came out, or Tarkov, or anything like that. It was more of land in, get some resources. The entire game was project based, and then you get out, or bless you,
bless you.
you land, get your stuff, and get out, or die, and then you lose everything. That was it.
And you had to get out. You had to get out by a certain time too.
Mhm.
That's yeah. Um,
But I think the whole group just wants focus on survival, even if it's just PvP or PvE. Bless you. We want more challenge. Honestly, is that what we're looking for? We want to be able to have to go from warmth to warmth You have to worry about hunger. You have to worry about thirst. You can't just stay outside. You have to have like gas masks in certain areas. Whereas this is just kind of, yeah, you're good.
I think we want the challenge. Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing that we had in the survival mode from Division 1. You like you said, you had to worry about warmth. You had to worry about everything. Filters. You had to worry about whether you surviving from food, thirst. What was and the antivirals. You had to worry about antivirals as well. You had to make sure you took medicine in order to get through the survival play mode, the playthrough rather, each round. So yeah, I think what we want is a little bit more challenge, but we want that more survival instinct aspect to it. I think, in my opinion, that's what I think we're all looking for, the three of us anyway, that have continued to play the game.
That sounds fucking awful. So I think what I've learned here is that Division should just do everything opposite of what I would want.
What would you want for Division, other than the cosmetics?
I don't want to say what I would want.
She doesn't want Division. That's what it is. That's all it is, really.
Yeah, see, the things I would change would just change it so much it wouldn't be the same game. I think this is a very clear case of they need to pull in people who want what the Division is. If you're not into what the Division's already built, I don't think that they should cater to you. I don't want the Division to change things so that I like it, because that's just going to make it so you guys don't like it. If you try to make everyone happy, you're going to fuck up your game for your fans.
Looking at you, Bungie.
Looking at you, Psionics.
So I think they should keep doing things towards what you guys would want and not try to care about what I would want at all, because trying to pull me in isn't gonna, one, if I've already played it, I'm not gonna have an open mind to the new stuff you guys add. Um and two, if you do add new stuff, you guys would hate it. You would hate anything that I would want in this game. So
They do have the tower, which is climb 100 floors. It's really repetitive even for us. I don't think we've ever completed it because we get bored about 60, 70% of the way in.
Not even. I
But
think
there's the
we get bored after the exotic cache at 15.
yeah. But there's also the descent, which is the roguelite mode. I think that should have brought some people in. I have a coworker that always wanted to get into Division. I convinced him to get into it, and his friend group only played the descent for about 15 levels. And then they started the game, and they didn't like it because they were over leveled.
we tried the Descent, and I thought I was really gonna like the Descent. I was like, oh yeah, that's the mode I want to play because I like roguelites. I hated that too. So I really think it's just don't pander to me. Division, don't do it. Just stick with what you're doing, because there are people who really like your game. Just keep adding stuff that those people want. I was so excited for Descent too.
I think the reason you didn't like the Descent is because your overall picture of Division is tainted already by what we did with the playing of Division 2. Like you said, you didn't really enjoy the game, the gunfights. You didn't really enjoy the story behind it. So, like you said, what reason do you have to stick in and play this one game mode in the entire game?
What I didn't like about the Descent was that it was too many rooms that were too small. I want larger challenge rooms that are bigger, more dynamic, more enemies per room, and I want to have to do less of them, because you had to do so many to get to the final boss. I want bigger rooms that are harder, and I like that you can pick whether you want to do an easy, medium, or hard one, and there were different rewards for each one. I really like that. But I wanted those to not be a small room, and they were all kind of small rooms. I don't know if maybe if you get in there later they get bigger, but I would prefer they be like the size of the theater or the complexity of like the theater mission that we did. And so I do less of them but still have to kill the same amount of people, just have it be in a more complex kind of setting, because we were in, everything was basically square. Everything was pretty square and had about 4 doors that people could come through. And you had to kind of like set up from there which ones you were going to be watching. And you didn't know which ones they'd come through. But overall, it was still a really small space for each one. And some of those we were clearing out. Like, we'd get set up and then we'd clear them in like under a minute. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I wish this was a bigger fight.
You know how you change that, right? By doing the hard, difficult rooms. We were doing a lot of easy rooms. We did not do very many hard difficulty fights.
See, I feel like we were doing the easy rooms because I wanted to get to the boss. So maybe retooling that too, because I wanted to get to the overall big boss. But if you do the hard rooms, then you gain less boss percentage. I don't know.
It's
Once
supposed
again,
to
don't pander to me. It's not my kind of game.
It's supposed to incentivize you either going quickly but being under geared to fight the boss, or taking your time, but now the boss is going to be more difficult because now you are geared. We didn't actually talk about what the boss is either. So the boss is basically a carbon copy of what you are as you approach that room. So if you are geared to the max as high as you can, guess what? So will they. If you are under geared, they are as well. But anyway, but yeah, I think that there could be maybe some retooling, but I think it's pretty balanced. I mean, we've never been able to get to the Nemesis yet. Panda, you and I did a run with Wolf, and we got very close to the end. I think we were like 1 or 2 rooms away.
We were in the last room. If we beat that room, we would have gone to the boss, but we died in that room, which, by the way, was our very first run through, and that's not supposed to happen.
That's because we play this game so much, and we were very, very focused in the fighting in that particular run. Yeah. So
I do want to go back and beat that though. Like, I think that'd be fun. For the next 2 weeks before we get into the new season of Division, just downtime. Try to do some Descent.
okay, I think that's everything. And anything else from either of you?
I got a glow stick. Yeah, it's a little backpack charm. It's just a little glow stick because Squid was like, didn't know where we went, so I put a glow stick on, and then she was just following the green light.
I remember you saying that.
It didn't help. It didn't fully help. There were so many times where we were running through a level and then I'd be somewhere like lining up a shot or looking at something, and then Panda would just be there and I'd be like, how the fuck did you even get over there? Where did you come from? Like, I know I said make the levels like in the Descent more complex, but damn did I get lost in the main story all the time because I could not figure out how you got to where you were. And to the point where we were streaming this and I literally had to be like, guys, I'm not like playing this up. It's not a bit. I am so dumb. I don't understand.
We were doing that mission where you go on the rooftops and you go all the way around, basically. And you have to go in and out of the buildings, which is a confusing level.
It is.
We've done it so many times.
That we know.
And I was like, are you sure you want me to rush? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So she's distracting them. So I'm plowing through all of the inside rooms and I pop back out on the roof and I just look over and she's like, you're not a bad guy? Because at one point I snuck up and I was shooting back at her and she was just trying to hit me.
We need to talk.
Like,
we
where
need to
did
talk
you?
about something else. One more thing you need to talk about. You guys need to talk about one more thing.
And she was just like, how did you get there? And she's like, I'm not this bad. This game makes me dumber than I am. It is confusing. It is.
I felt so dumb. Like, I haven't felt that inept at a game in a long time.
Panda, you know what the other thing we need to talk about is? The bunker.
The good news is Squid did get past where she was stuck in her solo area. So how did that go, Squid?
I started out this mission by being like, "Oh, is this like some sort of fallout shelter? Like, look, it's all 70s decorated." And I was looking at like the magazines and stuff.
She was like, "Oh, this is like a bunker?"
The
For
mission
Pan
name. The mission name is Emergency Bunker.
I didn't know that. I was unaware of the mission name when I said these things. But I didn't remember this mission at all until we got to the final boss. And in the final boss, you're like defeating people while someone breaks through a door. And he's like the big bad guy.
When we went into this, it was near the end of the night. She was getting sassy, right? She was getting sassy with me about how this game isn't hard. She's doing too much damage and it's not really fun. So I was like, all right. I didn't know this is the level she was stuck on. I didn't shoot. I was just shooting at walls close to enemies, like I did with you, Chase, on the
Yep.
normal. I was shooting at the ceiling, and she was basically just going through this level by herself. I really wasn't helping much.
I stand by. When you play with someone who's a much higher level than you, it balances out, right? But it over leveled me. And it could be because of how big our level difference was, honestly. Because I don't know, it was like what, like 15 levels, 20 levels or something. It was something ridiculous level difference wise. Um, but it was not hard at all. And you guys were like, yeah, division, like it's a strategy and you got to keep cover. And the entire time we were playing, I wasn't really. Because I would have a real shitty, like under leveled weapon. I'd be doing like 40,000 a shot. And I'm like, I know that this is wrong. I know that their scaling has made me way too powerful. Um, but I did defeat the guy finally after some hard work. And after finding out afterwards that there was some sabotage going on.
No.
We call them Hammer Bros. It's like beefed up firefighter type enemies with a sledgehammer. He breaks through the door while on either side across from you, left and right. They come down from the second story, and there's people with like bombs strapped to them, and they explode in your vicinity. Um, well, I'm on the right side of Squid. She's on the left side, taking out her side. Again, I wasn't doing anything. And so there's one running at me. I get out of cover. I sprint towards her. I jump over a wall. I run past her. And this dude just running full speed right at her. And I turn back around and I go to my spot. And she just looks at me, like in game. And she's like, "You could have warned me." And I lose it. Because she had no idea. Because she is focused.
All I saw was, oh shit, one of the exploding guys got past Panda and ran at me. And I was like, could have fucking given me a heads up. Like, this is a difficult level. You've said it. Where was the communication here?
Oh my god.
The boss breaks out and he starts running at Squid because she's a little bit more forward than me. And then for the next probably 90 seconds, maybe 2, maybe 3 minutes, they're just running in circles and she's scared to turn around and shoot him. And she runs past me and he just kind of looks at me and then runs past me and goes to her because I'm not doing any damage to him. So I have 0 aggro. And then at one point he goes to hit her and she dodges and I'm there. So then he starts aggroing me and she's shooting him. So I just run to her, go back around to my spot, and now he's back on back aggroed to her.
And then the other time that you chose not to shoot because she'd been sassy the time before. I'm like, oh, we're doing all kinds of damage. We're mowing right through, and you're like, yeah, I didn't shoot once. It's like, oh, that was all me.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. I was hoping it would show. So once you hit 30, it starts showing once you're doing the missions over again. It shows your status report basically on how much damage, your crit percent, healing, skill damage, everything. And I was like, oh, I'm excited to see how much damage we did. And Chase is like, oh, yeah, actually, I haven't seen that. I wonder. Mine would have said 0, but I was upset.
And then so Chase finds that out, and his next thing is, "Oh, so I did it all." And I was like, I was right fucking there. I was shooting. I was doing something. He was like, "Oh, so I did it all." And I was like, I'm just okay. Okay then.
And then she was sassy with me because I
He
said
was
that.
like,
So.
yeah. She was like, "Oh," or no, Chase, you said that. He was just like, "No, so it was just me. Nice. That wasn't bad. It was just me." And I'm just looking at her. She's mauling.
You just kept digging yourself deeper.
Yeah. If I'm gonna dig the hole, I'm gonna keep digging. Oh, it
To
was
be
fun.
fair, she did do the emergency bunker basically solo.
Yeah.
I didn't shoot that boss once, I don't think. So
You shot near him, but you didn't hit him.
yeah. So that was all you, Squid.
Yeah. Good job, Squid. You
Because the
beat Bunker.
game bumped me up to do like 40,000 a shot.
It did, but it scales. Like it
Yeah, it scaled up the guy too.
watching you kill enemies is about the same amount of bullets it would have taken. It just made it a little bit harder for us. The reason we were going through so fast is because we're endgame to the point where once you beat World Tier 5, there's normal, hard, challenging, heroic. World tiers, and heroic's the highest. There's missions that go on legendary, but not world tier. We can do heroic. Okay. Like when the group's all on, we run through heroic and we're fine. So it balances
We
people to level 38. We're so far above level 40 that the game only sees 40.
mm-hmm.
I think we broke the scaling system in this game. Like, I'm not going to say that the scaling system was bad. I think we just threw the worst case scenario at their scaling system. So if you're playing with friends and like some friends were like 3 levels higher or something, I think it would work out perfectly fine. I just think we threw the worst possible scenario at it and expected it to do good. But at first we didn't even expect it to do good. We thought that it was going to just make everything ridiculously hard. And I was going to just be in cover and trying not to get hit, but it didn't do that. I did still get to actually play.
And the reason we thought it was going to do that is because it used to do that. We've done multiple run throughs with our friends, boosting them through the game because they'd already played it once and they were trying to get another character or whatever it may be. And what we've done in the past is we would leapfrog missions, and the people that were being leapfrogged or being the frog, basically, they had to stay in cover at all times because they were all leveled to what we were leveled at, which was at the time I believe 30 or 40, depending on when we did it. So yeah, no, the reason we thought it was going to do that is because it had done that in the past. They have changed the way that the scaling system works.
They just did a huge update, probably over the last 3 or 4 months, multiple updates to get ready for the new seasons, for the new year. They've changed a lot of gear sets around. They buffed a lot of things, which is why we're doing way more damage than we were 6 months ago. They're getting ready for, I think, just a huge like fantasy, like DPS fantasy coming up, which is cool. Like power fantasies and games are why we play games. They're fun. So I'm excited to see the skill check required when this new DLC comes out. It's like, oh, haven't you had fun just mowing over everything in the last year? Not anymore.
They'll be squishier than they ever have, bullet spongier than they already have been.
Do you guys want to put a final guess in on how many hours I've played this game?
It's not many. I know it's not.
29.
27. It's got to be right around that.
Yeah, it's pretty close to that. It's 26 and some change. 26 and a half, which that's a fair amount of time to put into a game and not enjoy it. I guess that's how you know that it's just definitely not my game type. But I put in that much time and I didn't remember most of the story, but I always remembered liking the like premise of it. So
I put in 30 minutes and I knew I fucking hated Populous too. So you putting in 26 hours in a game you don't like? That's fair.
I mean, I've got almost 4,000 hours in Rocket League on Steam. Does that count?
We don't talk about that.
Okay.
I think Chase and I put in about 35 hours the last 2 weeks in our race.
It's got to be close to that. I mean, we were playing pretty much 2 to 3 hours every night, other than a couple of nights a week. So I mean, yeah, we've put a lot of time in the last 2 weeks.
I lied to you. It was 25, 26. There was a 26 in it.
That's fine. That's really not that much different, an hour. But yeah, all right. I think we're good to go to the ratings. Let's get the bad one out of the way. Squid.
I think I've said everything I can on this game. I know it's a good game. I know that the gunplay is good and that they have done things to keep you guys playing. It looks pretty. It is a I can't really say this anymore, but it is a hard game to stream. Panda's had 2 different computers he's tried to stream this game on and had trouble on both computers. And it's not like they were like super underpowered computers. It's just a headache to stream, but with new hardware now, he's not having that problem at all. So but it was for a while notoriously hard to stream this game. I'm not comparing others to see where I'm going to finally have it land.
That's weird. That sounds like that's exactly what you're doing right now.
No, my lighting just completely changed for unrelated reasons. I think where I'm going to put this one hurts because I want it to be higher. I just don't like it. So I'm going to match Phasmophobia at a 4.5.
Ooh, that's higher than I thought.
It was going back and forth between a 5 and a 4.5. The game's really good. Like, I know the game is good, and that's why this is difficult. Because, like, Contraband Police, also, you guys, well, Chase, you really liked that one. I think that game is objectively not good. Division has the quality there though, so that's why it's getting a little bit more of a bump. I'd say I probably had as much fun with it as I did Contraband Police.
How dare
but
you?
it's
The
so
Contraband Police is fun.
But yeah, I'm gonna put it at a 4.5.
Okay, Panda.
Okay, so Division 2. It gets compared to pretty often as far as live service games go with Destiny 2. I have uninstalled Destiny 2 since October, and I don't think I'm playing the Year 10 expansion that's about to come out. I am so fed up with them not making up their mind. Are you for the hardcore players? Are you for the casual players? Are you for PvP players? Are you for PvE players? Make up your mind. Division 2 has. At launch, there was no endgame. Everybody was up in arms about it. Everybody stopped playing. Warlords of New York came out. They made it grindy. They made it like for the PvE fans. They've been sprinkling some PvP in there that if you love it, you love it. I don't even think I've tried it, honestly. I like seeing numbers go up. I like hunting for gear sets. There's always stuff to do. There's the clan objectives. There's every week you can compete in your clan to see who's number 1 in the leaderboard. And if everybody's playing, you get rewards based on how much XP your clan has. There's always a bunch of stuff I want to do. It might not be solo. It might not be like sometimes I want to play by myself, sometimes with people, but there's always something. At the very least, when we are like right now, we're gonna be playing for the next 2 or 3 months probably, and at the very least, we'll be playing 3 hours a week. Just all right. Let's do the 15 levels of the tower. Maybe we'll do a run of Descent, and we'll do our weekly project for the exotic. Cool. I don't think it's something that we're gonna stop playing anytime soon until 3 comes out. Honestly, if so, it's a 10 for me. It's something that I really enjoy. The hardcore race was really, really fun. They've made up their mind, which 6 months ago when I was still playing Destiny, I probably would have said 9.5. But I'm so fed up with other games not deciding what they want. And to me, Ubisoft has. And they said, all right, cool. We're doing it for the grindy PvP or PvE looters. Cool. Thanks. I'll be there.
Okay. Not me thinking that Panda would hit 2 10s before either of us threw a 10.
I like certain games a lot.
Yeah, I see that.
I'm less surprised by this 10 than I was the other one, honestly.
That's, no, I figured that this one would be a 9.5, to be honest.
To be fair, these are both looters.
Yeah.
Day one, I love looters, and they both do it very well. Am I gonna change one or both of these scores at the end of the year when we replay? Maybe. Maybe Ubisoft's like, you know what? Since this is a live service game, my review will be changing. Be it good or bad, it will be changing, updating, whatever. Maybe they go into PvP and I'm like, what are you doing? Or maybe they make it super casual so anybody can just jump into the new DLC without a level boost and everything's the same. Like, who knows? The current, it's up there.
They put in a battle royale.
I would be so fucking down for that though. The gunplay is so good. If they don't if they scale it properly on what gun should do what and balance it, that would be fun. That being said, Ubisoft, please don't try that. That's not gonna work. That's something on paper that would work, but don't do it.
They kind of already had that with survival mode.
Yeah, kinda.
See, now you got me thinking if I should have gone up with mine too. The gunplay is amazing, in my opinion, just like what you said. Everything about this game, the things that we wanted for Division 1, since they fixed Division 2, it's there. All the things that we enjoy about the looters, I mean, we're kind of both looter players. I bailed on Destiny well before you did, though, so I saw the light on the horizon, but a little bit before you. That's okay. But yeah, no, Division 2, really, really good.
Rocket League first, okay? I don't want to hear it.
I know. Woosah. Yep. Anyway, so this might be the first and only time that I do this too, but I'm going with a 10 as well. Double 10s. This is the type of game that, like you said, we'll never put it down until 3 comes out. 1 was the same way. We didn't put 1 down until 2 came out. We had moments where we put it down, but we always went back to it. And this is the same thing. We always go back to this game. It's always in our rotation at least once a year, once every couple of months, whatever it may be. So yeah, it's a 10 for me as well.
Also, I feel like this is something that we go back to more often than Minecraft, than Lego Fortnite, than Power World, stuff like that the whole group plays.
Yeah.
Most of us are back into this more often because somebody gets the itch and everybody else is like, all right,
here we go.
I guess we're going in.
And we don't half-ass it when we go into a game. We've talked about this before. When we go in, we go in. And this is it's a game that we grind and grind and grind for a long time. I mean, when Warlords came out, we were on this every night for the entire time until everybody beat it. And then when somebody else wanted to play it, we brought them in. What happened?
Go ahead, Panda.
The whole group beat it.
I have been on record saying before that when this game came out, I didn't have you guys to play with because you were in full groups all the time.
You had us to play with. You chose not to.
And that is why earlier when I was talking about being stuck on the mission single player, you'll notice I was playing single player and none of them were. I was not. The group would have played with me, but I was playing at launch and you guys were all very excited to get through it. And I didn't want you to have to go back and redo shit with me. So that I will now go on record saying that was on me. But also maybe I just didn't like the game and it was a really good excuse as to why I didn't like the game. And now finding out that it wasn't that. that was the reason. But you guys would have played with me. You would have.
Wait till Squid finds out literally all of Division 2 is going back and playing the shit you've already done.
Literally. At higher difficulty. And that's the thing. So she complains about not having it hard enough, but she never gets to the end game stuff, so she doesn't know how hard it really
The
truly is.
challenge isn't going to make it fun, Chase.
No, I know it's not. I'm just saying. But if she says it's too easy though, the way that we were doing it,
Yeah.
she hasn't seen the other end of it, where
I
you slam your head into a brick wall for hours trying to get through a heroic mission.
No, I did, and I quit. On the bunker mission, I did see that, and I did that one probably like 15 times, and then I just fucking quit.
You wouldn't have had to quit if you had people who knew how to play the game.
I just think it's not for everyone.
No, it's not.
Destiny, early Destiny, I would say everybody needs to play this. Now, I don't recommend it to anybody. Even before I stopped playing, it just got so crazy. This game, I recommend everybody try it. But I'm not expecting it to stick for a lot of people. My coworker that tried it, 2 of them love it. The other 3 people that were playing hate it, and they're already done. So, it's just one of those games.
If you like looters, you should at least try it. Worst case scenario, you try it, you hate it. It's always on sale for pretty cheap. I mean, we've had multiple people buy it for like $6. I mean, worst case scenario, you try it, you hate it, you refund it. But anyway, consensus rating for the Division 2 is an 8.166 repeating.
We brought that up, Chase.
Good thing.
That means it wins, huh? Does it win?
Does it win what?
The best.
No, God,
No, not at all.
not even
Oh,
close.
We've
Not
all
even
been over
close.
9s before.
it got 10s.
Yeah, 2 10s with a 4 doesn't really help it. 4.5 doesn't help it. If you rated it a 5.5, we might be looking at something. But no, the 8.16 puts it, I believe, in 4th place for the year. 1, 2.
Not even placed, man.
5th best.
I think in spirit it's still winning. It got 2 10s. Like,
Nope.
in spirit.
Nope.
You can't tell it what to do in spirit.
You've soiled it.
It won the most gold medals.
It did get more gold medals than any other game that we've had, but still.
Yeah, I think
for people who love this type of game, it's winning.
I do think it's a love or hate for this game. More so than other looters.
Yeah.
There's really not a casual side to this game.
Yeah. All right. We get into the wheel
of I said of first.
You know he was going to do that again. I mean, it's for the bit.
Yeah, that's just this episode. We had all the trouble setting it up in the beginning.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
now you guys need to add the wheel as
Boop.
the. Hey, look. There's the wheel.
I knew you were going to put Dragon Age on this eventually.
I almost put that on.
Dragon Age?
It's specifically Inquisition, yeah.
Yeah. So I put Dragon Age Inquisition. Panda.
Cyberpunk 2077. I got a 4080. I want to play it.
Okay. And Squid, you went back to the well here?
Yeah, I put another Crab's Treasure on again because it still looked really cute and it was robbed last week. Not last week, 2 weeks ago.
It was fair. You even said it was fair.
It was, but it was still robbery.
That's
all right. You tried to rob us from giving a game 2 10s. So
before we spin this,
yeah,
we have. I have a no me left. Squid, you have a no me left. Chase, you're out, right?
I am out. I am out until Next episode.
Next episode,
And
it's
then I will
reset.
I will have a veto back next
Okay.
episode. Yeah.
That's what I was double checking because
Yep.
it'll be June, 6 months reset. Boom.
Yeah. But I will not have a no me at all anymore.
Okay.
So yeah. The time has been set. What are we going to be playing for episode number 31? Let's spin the wheel.
I was pretty centered.
Yeah, it was.
You looked over at me like I was going to do something. I'm happy with every single option on this wheel. There was not a bad option for me on this wheel.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, so Cyberpunk.
Chase.
Yeah,
I saw you did not own this yet.
it's true.
That'll be fixed. But
Okay.
Squid and I have played this for a while already. So I am very excited to see, because you didn't struggle through vanilla day one Cyberpunk.
I do know that there were a lot of issues with Cyberpunk at the beginning. I
You're
do
also
remember you guys complaining heavily about the issues that were there for Cyberpunk at the beginning.
You're also running good hardware now too.
Yeah.
So I am interested.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah.
I've had an upgrade since we played as well. I didn't have any game breaking glitches originally. I had funny glitches.
Okay. So, yeah. Episode 31 will be Cyberpunk, and Panda will be your host for that episode.
I want another game.
That's 2 in like
3
three episodes.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
crazy, dude.
Wow. Squid's been on hiatus from hosting games for a while now. Holy. Valheim was the last one you hosted? Good lord.
Yeah. Wait, was it? I
Yeah.
did host Valheim. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
You didn't choose that. You just
No, I was like, I wouldn't have put Valheim on the wheel. Why did I
No.
host that? That was a Game Pass
That was a
game.
Game Pass game. The last one before that you hosted, I think, was Venba. I think you hosted Venba as well. That one was your game.
I did, yeah, that one was my game.
Have you really only won one role? Yeah, you have. Well, other than getting vetoed after winning the role. I'm gonna let her continue fuming. Sorry.
Well, no, because I vetoed originally, and then got and then I won, and then got unwon.
Made for a good clip.
It was fun. I like the power ups. I think they make it fun.
nice.
All right. That's gonna do it for this episode. Squid, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, X, Instagram. I already said Twitter and X now. Instagram. All at Are You Squid Me?
You forgot Tumblr.
And Tumblr. I still haven't done anything with it. I'm just gonna put like random shit up there one day. Like the 10HrHour Tumblr is just gonna be wild.
Okay. You can find me at chaser931_ on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Kick. Panda.
You can find me at Violin Panda on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, TikTok, and Violin Panda _ on Instagram and X.
Okay. And you can find the. Whoa, go ahead, Squid. What were you gonna say?
You finally gave up the key of which ones are which.
I'm like 80% sure that's right. I was just gonna say it
You
with
missed
confidence
Twitch.
and hope.
You missed Twitch.
I said Twitch.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you
Yeah,
did.
he said Twitch. I forgot Kick though.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, you can find the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Kick. at 10HrHour. And then the website, our 10HrHour.podbean.com. Yeah, that's where the live feed is. You can find all of the episodes there.
Chase is EP.
I am. That's because it is 11 o'clock. And then you can also find all of our episodes on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. Give us a follow, rate, review, all the fun stuff, the things that the podcasters say. And yeah, we're going to call it a night here before I fall asleep in my chair. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.